Hey everyone, it's Michael and
Alex.
and still no Ruben from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au. I'll spit it out in a minute. Bringing you a Rubenless Friday, not a Fridayless Ruben, a Rubenless Friday. But we are here and we are, give or take, for two old blokes, we're not doing too bad. We're almost on time.
One old, one semi-old. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If I can just get a check from guys in the crowd to see if you can hear us okay, then I'll just make my way over to the cam.
Just make sure you can see us okay. It's not just me. And the sound is coming through okay. I'm not sure what we're going to do about it if it's not.
All right, thank you. All right.
So all looks good. So
time for commando crawl.
Yeah, better than the disaster we had last week, but that's all good.
It's only 2:30, Michael.
Well, it's not. It's 2:40 now, but that's okay. So it's been an interesting week, both from a Bullion's perspective and from a shop perspective. The renovation is continuing in Melbourne.
Yes, it is. It changes a bit every Monday, isn't it? When we come into work, and it looks a bit different.
The elves have been busy.
They have.
So yeah, it's coming along quite nicely. All the plastering has been done. It looks a little shaggy in the back room, but that's okay. It's the plastering's all there and been stopped up, and I believe this week we're starting painting, and I believe next weekend the front bench, like the counter, will all be fitted.
I can't wait for that. Now, the other thing is about this weekend. Last week we said we were closed this Saturday.
We are not closed this Saturday.
But the good news is we are not closed this Saturday.
Correct.
Yeah.
But we had to push that to next week. And that's, believe it or not, that's an IT thing, an IT reason why we're pushing it to next week. But we'll have more details on that because that's set in very wet concrete. It might be smoothed over and changed to the week after, but at this stage, we're shutting down. Not tomorrow, but the following Saturday will be shut for that day.
Yeah,
and obviously the Sunday as well.
Yeah. Or as I like to think, stay tuned for a confirmation next Friday. It's still a week away, so things might change.
Final decision will be made on Monday afternoon at a meeting. So hopefully Monday night, Tuesday morning, we'll release something that says, "Hey, we are either open or we are not open." But don't panic. We are shutting for good reason. We're updating, upgrading, changing our back end system. So hopefully things are going to work a heck of a lot smoother. And it is stage one because now we're talking about it. I'm probably going to get flooded with the, are you going to be able to
view your unallocated?
View unallocated on the web and all that sort of stuff. This is phase one of being able to do that. So it's not going to mean that, in a week's time you're going to be able to see your unallocated, but it is the first component we've got to put in place to build to that. And I'm hoping somewhere towards the end of the year, the start of next year, that function is fully available for everyone. So,
sorry, and odd jobs chiming in here. If you had a Sydney store, it wouldn't matter if you had to close Melbourne for the day. So, something to think about, Michael.
Well, ask me again in a couple of months.
Yeah. And
you never know what might happen.
Oh, I can see it now already, yeah. Or you can call Sylvia. No, don't call Sylvia. That was just a joke.
1300 84 84 10. Tell them that Alex sent you.
No, Alex did not say that at all.
Oh, Metal Inquisitor. I tell you what, it has been bringing back nightmares of a previous life at another company, possibly even the one you mentioned. I said I got to say, the IT team, that the internal team, DJ and Paul have been doing an incredible job. But I met with the external contractors that are actually doing a lot of the, I don't know what the technical terms is, but are doing a lot of the programming from their side on. And I said to them at that point, I've never yet managed to see an IT project come in on time, on budget. This one's
Actually, I walked in when I heard you say that. Yeah, rushing in from the shop. That's right.
so. But I got to say, they're very, very close. They're far closer than I ever expected them to be. So to their launch date, I wish they were a little closer to their budget, but you know how it goes. Can't have both things, can you? So, but they've been doing a brilliant job. They really have. So I'm really pleased with them. So it's good. What's happening, man?
It's been okay. I'm really happy for one that and to say thank you to all the people I know that were praying out there for me on the live stream, 'cause after the interesting intro last week. I'm really looking forward to Rube's coming back, and then there's another person actually at the helm. But yeah, it's just been flat out with a few on annual leave, just away. It coincided, a few away, and then doing other things at the Pakenham store. So then it's all skeleton crew hands on deck in the city. So it's been just absolutely hectic. Saturdays have been busy, as anyone can attest to that's been in on a Saturday. But it's been fun as always, and I really have to do a big shout out to all our customers, because even in the wait lines on Saturday, there's like 4 of us serving, and just non-stop. Everyone has been really cool, really chilled about it. So yeah, thank you very much. You make a big difference on that, on how everything else goes, and for the other customers as well. Yeah.
Look, I'm often amazed. We talk about the Bullion Now family, and it continues to blow me away that how understanding they are, how encouraging they are, how part of the whole organisation they are. I've been involved in retail all my life. I mean, I had a flying career as well, but I was...
You don't say.
I was born in the back of... I was almost born, literally in the back of one of my family's shops. Wow. So I've literally been involved in retail pretty much my whole life. I've never experienced retail where almost every transaction feels like you are dealing with family, and that's what we seem to have attracted, or what seems to have gathered around us. And
yeah, I can attest to that, being a customer for 3 years before I was an employee, and that was from the first day when I walked in and got some rhodium off you. Yeah, ever since. Yeah,
the transaction.
Where you tried to talk me out of buying said rhodium. But yeah, it was. Yeah, it's
55 minutes of me telling you didn't really want this, and 5 minutes of completing the transaction.
Like in Futurama, I'm like, shut up and take my money. Yeah. What was that meme?
It's a good job we can look back and laugh, isn't it?
Yeah. You got to laugh in this industry, don't you?
You do. Anyway, we should get on to some questions. So,
well, there was one, speaking of your aviation history, and there was one coming from Metal Inquisitor saying, "Are we in IT? Are we changing out with Qantas's old IT?"
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was giving me nightmares to some updates that I'd been involved with the Great White Rat. Yeah, it was.
Sorry, I got to ping something from Sylvia, and I thought, oh no, did I get already complaint from?
That's right, everyone's already on the phone.
No, it wasn't that. No, that's all good.
Speaking of which, I haven't put my phone on silent, so I should do that while it's singing in the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a good chance just to jump on here. We've got a few things that we want to talk about, but it's a good time to throw in some questions that you want to ask people who are involved in the bullion industry. You'll find people will answer your questions in the chat, and we'll also pick up on as many as we can, and we'll have a bit of a discussion on here. So it's good to see so many people joining us.
Odd job. A question: how's that investment work out, Alex? For the rhodium, actually, I could have made quite a bit on it if I sold back, but I didn't buy it for short term, even though it was like 4 years. Yeah, about 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, it'd be 3 or 4 years.
I'm buying it for a bit longer term than that, and looking at. I've got other avenues where I can sell that through. So I'm very happy that I picked it up then when I did. Right. Welcome to Alan G. Nice to join you for once. Usually working during live streaming and catch up on the weekend.
Mate, priorities
today. Yeah. Hope you feel better.
You should be going, no. The live stream is more important than working.
Well,
I'm sure your boss will understand. Don't stress. Tell him I said it's okay.
There's a lot of apparently cramps and stomach aches on Friday afternoons at 2:30 to 4. And all the toilets are blocked out.
Yes, that's right. Ray Dawes has opened an interesting question there. And I know you said it tongue-in-cheek, but, if you open a store in New Zealand, it wouldn't matter if you run late. You'd be on time in Oz. I'm curious to know if there's any Kiwis on here. If Bullion Now should go to New Zealand.
Ooh. Oh, well, that's a yes.
Oh, it's a yes, is it?
Yeah, well, I'm still to visit Hobbitown, so... yeah.
I was more meaning a shop. Should we set one up over there?
Well, why not?
I can think of many reasons why not. Number one being, as much as AusTrack drives me up the wall, AusTrack are one government department I have to deal with in New Zealand. They don't have their version of AusTrack. You deal with, I think it's 3 different departments in the government. I'm just not quite sure how I'd cope with that.
Hang on. So instead of 1, you got 3
yeah,
simultaneously?
That's my understanding at this stage. But
well, you already got the grey hair, so
yeah,
it's not going to get any greyer.
Oh, dear. Looks like everyone wants me to open in Sydney and Brisbane before we go to New Zealand, but I reckon we should just do them all at once.
I'm still... wait till the city stores fix first and Pakenham opens, then...
Mate, you have no sense of adventure. Why shouldn't we? I honestly, I think we should just open all of them.
Oh, I'd love that. I had my, international-wise set on Texas BN, but after talking and looking into more, I've been looking at Florida BN.
Florida BN.
Yeah, Florida BN. Yeah.
You like the Cyclones?
Well, I'm a prepper, so I feel like I'm, not just dry runs, but actual wet runs.
Yeah, that's right. Would there ever be a chance you would do store vouchers as a gift idea? I think it would be a great idea to get people into silver and gold. We have discussed this many times, and in actual fact, it's another reason why we're rolling over to a new ERP system, because we would like to be able to offer those gift vouchers, particularly. I don't know if this has been completely sexist or not, but particularly around Father's Day, I get a lot of people saying, I don't know what to get Dad, but I know he stacks medals, and so I'd really like to get him a gift voucher. So we'd absolutely love to do it. I'm hoping, Matthew, that it will kick in. Again, it won't kick in straight away, but I think this new back-end system will allow us to be able to do things like that. So,
Nice.
Alan G's, it's not a stupid question, mate. We get asked this quite often. So do you offer allocated storage of people's personal stack not purchased at BN? For some people, it could be worth paying, especially if their accommodation situation is volatile, etc. I'm lying if I say we don't, but we
rarely do.
Yeah, we don't encourage it because we're a lot of places are storage facilities that sell bullion. We are a bullion dealer. We sell bullion that, we do have storage facilities, but we really only use it we only really offer it to our customer base. There are a couple of occasions where we've actually relented on that, but generally it's for the Bullion Now family. We don't tend to push it out very far because I don't really want to become a storage company at this point. There may come a day where we actually start, we actually do set up a storage facility and move down that line, but at this stage we don't do it. I hope that clarifies that one.
Could go on here from Water Monkey. Can the gift vouchers be denominated in ounces/grams and not AUD?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's great. It helps a lot of people, and quite often that's the way we steer people. Go down the unallocated line and get an ounce or a kilo or whatever you're looking at buying for them, and that way. In this example that I'm giving, Dad can come in and say, well, the spot price is paid for, and I want it as a kangaroo or a kookaburra or this year's Luna or whatever they want it to come in as.
I'll never get that. I get socks.
Maybe you need to educate your family.
Yeah. I'll have a good stern talking to my 10-year-old.
Hey, Ross is in Rome. Coffee and live stream while the wife and kids sleep in.
Oh, that's the other thing.
Sounds perfect to me.
really looking forward to Rubes being here and setting up the stream so then I can get a coffee like just before
A real
not
one
from like 9 o'clock this morning that's like now iced coffee.
Oh, dear. Napier on the North Island doesn't have any bullion dealers, and you have to travel 4 or 5 hours to... I'm not even going to attempt... This is my biggest concern with moving to New Zealand. I would not be able to pronounce the names of the towns. Yeah, great. So, yes.
You know, fun fact, not so fun fact, never been to New Zealand.
Haven't you?
No.
I was there for a day last week.
Oh. Might have to, explore that.
Yeah. Yeah, all a lot of fun. All right, what else have we got?
All right.
Actually, we got a message today from one of the Bullion Now family down in Tasmania. And it's a good reminder for all of us, but I guess I'm not going to go into any detail because I don't want anything to be identifiable. And because I'm doing this on the fly, I haven't had chance to make sure that nothing on there is identifiable. But they have, unfortunately, they've had their safe stolen with approximately 300 ounces of silver in that safe, of all sorts of varieties. There's coins and bars and all sorts of things in there. Obviously, I'm kind of putting out a general appeal to the Bullion Now family that if anyone comes across a slightly suspicious transaction that involves larger quantities of coins and bars, to maybe drop us a line, even email, so sales@bullionnow.com.au, or give us a call, 1300 84 84 10, and just let us know some basic details would be really good, and we will pass them on. But it's a really good reminder that, yeah, we joke about it, and we have a lot of fun in the store with our customers base, with the Bullion Now family, and we do these things online like this. But it's a really good reminder of the fact that we are dealing with a precious metal, and security is paramount both for your stack, but also for your family and loved ones around it. Because I'd never say, I hope the person's not actually listening to this live stream, because what I'm about to say could be taken the wrong way. But having your safe stolen is actually the better alternative to some scenarios that we hear about where it's not quite as clean as that, and there are potentially family involved and things like that. So it's still it's a terrible situation, and I really feel for the person. But at least only the safe and the bullion was stolen. There was no other damage that we're aware of was done. But it's a good time for you to reflect, all of us to reflect on how we store our precious metals, in what form. I know for us, we don't keep it at home. We have a storage. I mean, I'm quite fortunate in that we have a very large storage facility that I can plug into as part of the Bullion Now family. And we also have bullion stored off-site, like off-country as well. So that gives us options, and it also gives us a better level of security in some ways. Which
is why I'm a fan of opening up other Bullion Now locations internationally, like New Zealand or wherever, really. It gives you that little bit of extra diversification and regional safety, international safety, whichever way you look at it, because you can have certain orders stored at certain places. So or even unallocated for that, potentially.
Look, there's a couple of comments coming through about, what if you don't have a vault near you or anything along those sort of lines. Look, it doesn't have to be a vault. I'm not, and I've said this before many times on live streams and videos, I'm not a big fan of safes, because while it may keep your product safe inside, me as a burglar, me as someone who wants the contents, knows that you've got something valuable because you've got a safe. So I know I can't open it, so I know the next best thing is to threaten you or someone close to you to open it. So I actually think safes are a terrible idea. But there are other ways to obscure, to store your bullion, and it doesn't necessarily need to be in a safe or a vault. And this is not storage advice. This is just stimulating conversation. There is nothing Yeah, I've got to be really careful how I word this. There are a lot of options, as many options as you can think of. I know people that bury it literally in the garden with backhoes or shovels, that type of thing. I know people that, put it into walls. I know people that put it into their washing line, in the stem of the washing line. I know people that store it in plain sight, but they disguise it. It'll be painted black as a doorstop.
Like the 1 kilo bars we bought back a couple of months ago.
Yeah. People crochet ducks and use them as the ornament that is covering their precious metal. I know I had one gentleman in one day complaining bitterly because he was sick of opening the tea caddy and finding gold bars in the bottom of it that his wife was stashing in there. Another one complained about the fact that there was gold in his pill containers in the bathroom.
Old paint buckets.
Yeah.
Just don't get anyone to help you
repaint the house.
Clean up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We had a customer in many, many, many years ago, and he had sold his house. He'd converted all the money into 1 ounce gold bars. He'd put them in a short PVC tube that the plumbers use with the screw-on caps on the end. And then he'd gone to a national park and he'd dug a hole under a big tree and he'd buried it under there. He'd gone to Vietnam for a year or two and then he flew back to Australia, dug it up and then came in and sold it off because he decided that he was moving permanently to Vietnam and taking his wealth with him. So you don't have to use a vault. There are other options, but CJ Campbell took the words right out of my mouth. Best security is not telling anyone that you have bullion. And it's one of the reasons why, it's actually one of the reasons why we're doing the extension to the shop, is to give more privacy to transactions, because I believe that you tell no one, including us, about where it is, about what you've got, and all those types of things. Yes, look, sometimes it has to come up in conversations. I've got X amount to invest, like in precious metals. People ask us this constantly, and obviously we can't give specific advice, but we can lead a general conversation. I've got this much to invest. What do you think I should invest it in? One of our first questions should be, well, what have you already got? Because there's no use me telling you to just put it all in gold when you've already got $1 million worth of gold at home, and possibly we should be having a conversation of you diversifying away from gold into, silver or possibly even platinum and those types of things, or maybe different sizes and shapes. So the conversations that we have are incredibly private, and we protect that privacy. But even down to your trusted bullion dealer, you don't want to give them too much information. It makes me cringe a little bit when people do tell me where they store their gold, because I think, oh man, you just don't tell me. Like, I don't want you thinking that I've told someone or anything along those sort of lines. Like,
because if anyone doesn't know how investigations work officially, then who did you tell about this?
Yeah, that's right.
And then we go on that list for the investigation too.
I told my friendly neighbourhood bullion dealer. Fantastic. I'm a firm believer in you need to tell one other person in case you get hit by the proverbial bus. But limit that circle to as few people as you possibly can. Yeah. I had to laugh. I had a couple in here one day. I got a story for pretty much every occasion. I had a couple in here one day, and they had 3 kids. Yeah. So, like adult kids. And so they decided to give each of the kids 1/3 of the information of where their stuff was held. So no one child could ever take them out. They all had to get together to actually go on this treasure hunt to find their stack. Wow. Which I thought it was beautiful. Yeah. I could just imagine the reading of the will with them all going, what?
That's pretty wild. The other thing, just to touch on that and privacy, I know a lot of our customers enjoy that different feel and just being open in an open space. We also have VIP rooms if you want more secured and just discuss things in privacy. But again, if we're serving at the front and you do want to basically have a more private conversation, you can always ask us to wait and we'll take you into a private room. And we are working on building even more VIP rooms. So
and look, it might be a 5 or 10 minute wait for you to get a private room, but we've absolutely got the private rooms
So don't
there.
feel like you have to, talk basically about your transaction in front of everyone. A lot of people actually prefer it, but I know there's quite a few that don't like that and want the privacy. So if none of us are in a private, you can always ask or ask to wait, and you won't have to wait until that. You'll just have to wait until that person's finished, and we'll make sure you go in next.
Yeah, odd job. I'm not going to mention exactly what you've written. People can read it for themselves. But before we extended the shop here in Melbourne, we knew we'd outgrown the shop a few years ago, and I've been looking for alternative places around the Melbourne CBD, and that was one of our real concerns, was trying to find somewhere that people could enter and particularly exit without everyone seeing them coming and going. At least in a building like this, like you're one of a flood of people coming out. So the chances of anyone actually targeting you or realising exactly what you've got tucked under your arm are pretty slim. Whereas I know there was one place that we looked at that was actually on Collins Street, like smack bang on the street, ground level and all that sort of stuff. And Brett was with me when we went to check it out. And one of his first comments was, there's one way in and one way out. And like, everyone's going to know what everyone's leaving with. So you can't do this. It's a hard one, that one. You want to provide as easy as access as you possibly can while still maintaining customers' anonymity.
Yeah, absolutely. Got one here from Chezzy R. Who is serving on Saturday, toying with a trip into town. Also is a collect fest on the Convo Centre. So I'll be on tomorrow. Unlike the light that just went out. So I'll be on tomorrow. Kyle will be on, and Brennan will be on, and we'll see if we can get another. Yeah,
we like 4 in on the store,
but we'll see how we go. But I'll be in. Okay, just catching up with some.
It's
shopping centres are the worst for privacy. Absolutely.
We actually checked out one place that we did almost jump on, where you could enter from the street. Again, it was on the ground level, but it had 2 exits out the back, and one particularly exited into not an alleyway, but what do you call the...
hang on. This is why...
Not a mall,
a vintage...
Oh no, it's actually just across the road here on Collins Street. There's
what that building's called. I can't remember what that.
There's a little walk-through. There's a whole stack of shops in there. So you popped out near the barber shop there, and you kind of just appeared, and it was absolutely ideal to into an arcade. And it was absolutely perfect because it was ground level. Like I said, you had this big entry, but you could slide out, and you just literally appeared in the middle of the flowing pedestrian traffic. But the downside was that the tiles that were in there were heritage listed. Yeah, good. And if you cracked a tile, it was a major drama.
Think heavy safes.
That's right. I'm thinking we got safes, we get deliveries that weigh hundreds of kilos. Yeah. Like this is...
Don't drop that buyback kilo silver on a...
We're just setting ourselves up for a disaster. Yeah. So I pulled the pin on it.
At the previous job, there were quite a few heritage listed buildings, so had to deal with some of those, especially as some of the clients in them did a bit of damage. So it's never fun going through an ordeal like that. I do like what Middle Inquisitor wrote. I always make sure I walk out with a crazy look on my face. That will help.
The resting crazy face. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Oh dear, it's good fun, isn't
it? Jason, how much rent are ABC paying in Martin Place that the customer makes up in premiums? It is a beautiful place, but that would be quite a bit, I imagine.
It would
Anything in Sydney though, wouldn't it? CBD.
Yeah, Sydney's. Well, I mean, Melbourne's not particularly cheap, mate.
Well, it was. I wouldn't say anymore. That's for sure.
So a couple of good articles this week in the mainstream media. So Fin Review did one on the commodity markets this year, a bit of a review, because we've just had the end of the financial year. So it's kind of that mini review of your investment portfolios. Mm-hmm. So a big burst on platinum and silver. and how you would have made a fortune if you'd
On a
followed their
financial
non-advice
reading, yes.
and loaded up earlier on in the year or late last year. Always cracks me up how they've been bagging it out until suddenly it's a good one, and then it's like we always said.
Yep.
Yeah, good on you.
Like I was asking 208 and 2413 about investing my super, and they basically laughed at me.
Yeah. You what?
Yeah, I won't invest in that.
Yeah. I still can't get over being questioned by that rugby player. I can't remember his name. It'll come to me later when I don't need it, where he basically, he works in the industry. He's an advisor to one of the ETFs. And he said, so you sell gold? Yeah. Like physical gold? Yeah. Like, yeah, Nick Farr-Jones. Like, so people actually come in and buy gold from you? Yeah. Like physical gold? Yeah. And it's like, what? You work in the industry. Surely you understand this.
Well, the working in the industry, that's what gets me. I know I want to tell a few people what I do, and I'm like, oh, people buy that. I'm like, yeah, they do. You know? Actually, more so I get asked, oh, so you get paid in gold? I'm like, no, I get paid in fiat. But I very quickly convert that into gold.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
No,
you
go.
The other big thing in this week's newspapers that I wanted to draw to people's attention, gold is soon to become Australia's third biggest export, behind iron ore and the other one, coal. That was the other one. Yeah.
Wow, that surprises me. Just export.
Yeah, third biggest export.
Third biggest. That really surprises me.
So, well, it doesn't surprise me, which is like possibly that it's the third biggest, but not that it's one of our largest exports. Because,
no, just that it's in the top three now.
Yeah, because we are one of the few countries. I'm really having a dig at Australians now. We are one of the few countries that is gold rich, but we have no gold education. We have no gold understanding like the rest of the world does. For preserving a portion of our wealth in the product. We are far more keen to ship it overseas and take the fiat currency in our hand, whereas pretty much I cannot think of another country overseas that is so keen on exporting their wealth as Australia is. Particularly their precious metal stored wealth. I'm not just talking about the other minerals that we export, but it's unbelievable. And quite believable at the same time.
Now, with that, you know how they're saying now, so what is it, gold to become Australia's third biggest export? Is that, I'm assuming they're basing it on value? So
yes, on dollars.
On dollars. So that would also be not even maybe the amounts going out, but because of the gold price increasing, so it just elevates it up to that.
It's both, actually. I mean, gold's obviously increased, as we've talked about many times recently. Gold has obviously increased quite a lot over the last 18 months to 2 years. So that's absolutely helped it. But also, a lot of the gold mines are... We've had several gold discoveries in this country.
Yeah.
We've had several mines come online, and we've had a lot of the mines increase their production. And a lot of our mines have been bought by overseas interests, and they're extracting the gold and shipping it straight overseas. So I'm going out on a limb here because I haven't researched this, and I should have before I say it. But I can't actually think of any of our major miners. That doesn't even make sense. Any of the major gold miners that are actually fully Australian owned anymore.
Wow.
They're usually overseas owned, or they're floated on the stock exchange, and a large proportion of their shares are owned by overseas companies.
Wow. That's nice.
So I may stand corrected on that, but I think I'm fairly accurate. I'll have to do some research before next week on that one. So, yeah, it's an interesting fact. I guess it's good in some ways. Exporting brings money into the country, but it's bad in other ways because we are just basically exporting everything that's not nailed down, and even the stuff that's nailed down, we're tearing it up and we're sending it overseas, and not getting any of that long-term equity value out of it.
Yeah, sad.
Food for thought.
Don't say BlackRock owns our mines. Caroline Goody.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
there are chunks of it owned by BlackRock.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Now we did also discuss. I believe you did not bring them the new stock, as per our title as well. But something has hit the website.
Yeah. We slid it up there quietly, and I'd like to say it was intentional, but it was it was intentional, but it's mainly because we've got Ruben here to make a big deal of it. So the Royal Mint, Queen's, the Tudor Beast, Greyhounds of
the Beast series. Oh no, that's not my series. The only coin I actually absolutely, it's like not really. That was one series I didn't get into personally, but I love the completer. The Queen's completer in the coin is just absolutely, again, stunning.
Yeah. Greyhound of Richmond.
Oh, go Tigers. How can I? All right, I won't forget that. All right, Greyhound of Richmond. All right, cool. And that's one. And the other one, which we've had requests for, are the Velcambi divisible combi rounds.
Oh, yeah. I'd forgotten that. So they're actually breakable down to 4 parts, aren't they?
Hang on. This is the 100 by ones.
Oh, those ones.
Yep. Oh, no. There's
we've got the other ones. Have they been released to the web yet?
Well, I don't know, because Adzi actually reminded me about the Velcambis, but I'm not sure. I know we've got it. We should have them in a store, but I don't know if they've gone on the web yet.
They're definitely in the store because I fell over a box of them this morning.
Okay, well there you go. Like it's not heritage tiles.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so there's a few bits and pieces and other restocks. Lots of buybacks coming through but coming and going.
I actually meant to talk about this. You've just reminded me. I've forgotten all about it. What's amazed me with buybacks this week? We've had a lot of buybacks. That isn't the amazing part. Buybacks have been, other than I think 2 weeks ago where the buybacks dried up a bit. Buybacks have been fairly consistent, and there's been lots of buybacks. Brett's common saying at the moment is that we're paying out like a broken slot machine when I ask him for the evening report. And he's not wrong. You know, we're buying back heaps of stuff, which is really good. This is absolutely not a complaint. We love the buybacks. It's fantastic. And yes, Drogue, there are platinum buybacks, there are gold buybacks, there are silver buybacks. I haven't seen any palladium come through in buybacks recently.
Not
or
really.
rhodium.
We might have a 50 gram palladium buyback. I'm not sure. If we do still have it, there's only the one.
Yeah. What has amazed me, though, is far more than normal, people have been requesting payment in cash.
Yes. Hang on.
Far higher percentage of people
cash,
wanting cash rather than bank transfers.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you what stimulated that. It caught us off guard. In fact, we actually ran out of cash one day, which has never happened, ever.
That was only what? Yes, was it yesterday or the day before?
No, it was the day before.
It was the day before, yeah.
Yeah. Where we ran out of cash.
Actually, in the 2 years I've been here, that was the first time that we ran out, that I was here and serving, and then we were out of cash. Yeah.
Because there was a heated discussion because somebody, and I won't mention who, Oscar, somebody paid out someone in our last remaining $5 and $10 notes, and it's like, what? Now what do I do? It was, it's been, again, I don't know what triggered it, but normally, I don't know the ratio, 1 out of every 4, 1 out of every 5 requests cash. I reckon Wednesday it was like 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 requested a bank transfer. Everyone else requested cash. Never seen anything like it.
But I have, I don't know what though, people watching what your experience is, but I've been hearing more and more people do like getting more back into cash.
Yeah,
not everyone shares the reason why, but sometimes, or even like I'm traveling, or on a bus or on a tram in the city, and I hear like just conversations, and definitely talking to customers here. But even those that usually do card are getting more and more into cash.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I'm not sure of the reasons why. I've always been cash, so I don't, for me, there's no change. It's business as usual. But I have noticed that as well, just outside of the bullion industry.
I think it's good that people are converting some into cash. I'm not the guy that's going to say, bring in your 5 kilos of gold and convert it all into cash. I don't think that's a wise move. But I think it's a good idea to keep a chunk of cash at home for the just in cases.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Again, and we've talked about this again before, but I live in a rural area, and it's not. I would say it happens a couple of times a year, 2 or 3 times a year, where something goes pear-shaped, whether it be, we have a fairly large power outage, or, the example I gave last time was we lost the Optus tower for 3 days. We went down to maintenance, and something went wrong with their maintenance.
Is it a year ago? Almost?
Yeah, might even be 18 months ago.
Okay.
We lost the Telstra tower. No, it wasn't. It was the Optus tower for 3 days. And what none of us knew up until that point was everybody in town, everybody's FPOS machine went through the Optus tower.
Yeah.
So there was no FPOS at all, completely in the area for 3 days. And so if you didn't have a stack of cash sitting in your back drawer, you couldn't buy petrol, you couldn't buy groceries, any of those sorts of things. So I think it's a wise idea to keep an amount. I'm not talking about, again, I'm not talking millions or anything like that, but enough to get you through a couple of weeks of expenses. Keep that stored somewhere safely to...
And Desi says, lucky had the 1/10 silver rounds to pay people with.
Yeah, it's pretty sad when we're paying people out in kangaroos, isn't it? It's like...
Yeah, look, if I was on it, maybe we'll do this for next week when Rubes is back, do a poll. Like, who is a fan of, 1/10, fractional silver?
Oh, I love
I'm
fractional
a big
silver.
fan of fractional silver. 1/10 for me is the sweet spot. I mean, getting more recently, I showed you into the 1 grammers.
Yeah.
But 1/10 for me is a sweet spot for collecting. And someone else, I just trying to catch up with all the, keep on with the conversation, and then while Rubes is not here, go through the questions. And someone was asking about Brits, the silver 1/10 Brits.
Yep.
That I missed out on, and if we're planning on getting any more in.
I have some more in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Something's gone wrong with the something or other, and I'm sure they were 1/10s that Adam and I were arguing about yesterday. But we've got them in, and they're not in the system properly or something, so I can't do anything with them currently. But yeah,
so it might be good news to whoever asked in the comment section, which now, because it keeps updating and everyone's commenting, I've lost track of. But yeah, I wanted to ask that question for you. So yeah, that sounds good then.
Yeah. I always used to say that, you always go the smallest that makes sense. Like, you can't get too small a fractional round until they started producing 1/100th of an ounce. And it's basically a foil.
Is that the Scottsdale Mint Gold? Of course I've got one.
Oh, what a pain in the backside.
Do you know where I keep that? In my Goldback wallet.
Yeah, there you go.
My Goldbacks, there you go.
Yeah, I remember when we first got them in, the first time we got them was, 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was ages ago. But I dropped one on the floor, and I hadn't noticed initially, but I walked on it because I wear, I don't know if I can get it on camera, but I wear... No, I can't. I'm going to be off camera.
Don't break the setup. It's taken me ages.
I don't dare. I wear they don't call them steel caps anymore. They call them safety cap boots because we handle 1,000-ounce bars and kilo bars and all that sort of stuff. The last thing you want to do is drop one of those on your foot, as I did the other day. Anyway, I dropped this 1/100th of an ounce foil on the ground, and I walked on it. And, of course, I couldn't find it anywhere. It had stuck. It got bent up and stuck inside the tread of my boot. Yeah, and, it was about an hour of me scrambling around trying to find this 1/100th of an ounce before I finally found it on the bottom of my boot.
Which is where I keep it safe, tucked in my Goldback wallet. Yeah. But, yeah, I had to get one. It's just, what we say, add some flavour to your stuff.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, always the weird and wonderful.
Yeah. The coins in the Christmas puddings. Yeah, we actually, if your mum still wants to do it, mate, we've actually got some shillings and some threepences and sixpence. You could always get some of those, and I suppose
retro puddings.
Yeah, you'd have to sterilise them, but you could give them to mum to stick in the old pudding.
There was one.
We got banned from that in my household because I had British parents, so it was very much a tradition in my household. Until, I don't know, one of us choked on one or something stupid, and then Mum banned them entirely. We never saw them again.
Yeah, Drogue, 1/10 is 1 to 2 coffees. Absolutely.
Desi's come over to the dark side. I bought my first vintage 50-ounce bar today. I never really understood why Michael was into them, but holding them in hand, I think I understand now.
First of all, congrats. Second of all, I'm sorry you're going down this path, because Michael was telling me when I started, he goes, "Oh no, yeah, I love these old crusties and all this vintage." I'm like,
yeah, the mouldier the better.
I'm smiling, not I'm thinking, why?
Yeah.
And then
who have I just started working for?
6 to 9 months later, I'm like, oh, it doesn't look too bad. And now, like 2 years
into it,
you know, okay.
It's like seagulls over a chip in the back room.
It is, but like a year and a half is like, okay, I'm a little bit into it. But then when Kim Brett's book on hand poured like vintage silver and gold cast bars came out, that was it. I got the book straight away. Then, picked up a couple of. There's plenty coming in and going around, so not everyone. That's the beauty about working at Bullion Now, right? You think, oh, everyone wants this, but then 5 minutes later, there's something else, and you just can't get everything. There's plenty to go around and share. Yeah. But picked up some nice vintage Perth Mint and ABC gold. Still haven't seen any small silvers come through, but the gold we do see come through quite a bit. Yeah. You
can always tell the new guy. So it's supposed to be the end of every month, but I have to admit I'm a little bit slack sometimes, where I go through all the staff purchases. So the staff that are here get a certain amount of gold and silver that they can buy every month, and we do them a staff rate. And I go through at the end of the month, and you can always tell the new guys that have started because you pull out their bag. Yeah. And there's like 400 coins in there,
and then they get the bill.
That's right. I get the bill and I go, what? How am I going to explain that?
Yeah.
So 2-3 months in, it starts to shrink down to everyone else's size, where they're getting 5 to 10 ounces of silver a month, and that's the limit, sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I had to laugh at Ruder's thing because it's been You've been a little bit lax, yes, in the last set of purchases for the months. That's why I'm on steamed rice and water the rest of this month, because I'm paying off several months worth. But you know what? It's all worth it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Desi's right. Holding them is completely different to seeing a photo.
Oh,
and the thing I love about it is that you don't. Like quite often with these old crusties, you don't care if you're handling them. You're not going to leave a fingerprint on them. They're so, they've got toning, and they've probably got a ding here and there, and like it's
actually, I actually have one. I have an old Credit Suisse 10-gram silver necklace bar.
Which that's the rhodium you bought.
No, oh no, that's safely buried somewhere. So it's pretty fun getting into it, but you can get really, really easily lost when you go down that rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, but it's like any of the rabbit holes we frequently go down.
We get a whole bunch of buybacks, and they're like, the 100-ounce vintage bars, and you're like, I can't pick up one at the moment, and now there's like 5 and. Yeah.
Like I said, seagulls around a chip in the back room some days. It's unbelievable. Robert, we are getting 10-gram Perth Mint bars. They possibly turned up just as I came on live stream. There was a couple of deliveries turned up. Yep. But they are due to be in any day now. Yeah,
Caroline Greedy. Yeah, I'm coming to work for BN, yes. It is. Look, it's a fun madhouse here in the city, at least.
Madhouse is the understatement.
But good fun all round.
Jason, as far as I'm aware, the wait time on shipping at the moment should actually be pretty short. As far as I'm aware, the team's caught up, so it should be out within a couple of days. If it's not, drop us an email or give us a phone call. So 1300 84 84 10 or sales@bullionnow.com.au. And we'll be able to tell you where it is, and if it's got stuck somewhere, we'll give it a bit of a push along.
Yeah. Who was that?
That was Jason.
Jason, okay.
If you if you flick us the don't do it on here, but if you flick us the invoice number, one of us will have a quick look for you, mate.
All right. Sorry, Jason or Jason Ash?
I think it was Jason. Yeah, okay. Jason, what is the approximate wait time on mail-out orders at the moment?
Okay, yeah.
Metal Inquisitor,
yeah.
I'm expecting them within about 2 weeks. I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce that name.
Yeah, sorry, Jason. Yeah, I'll send you my email. Just email me.
Yeah. When you're getting coffee machine in the Collins Street store, when my lawyer says I'm not legally liable for any burns that occur.
Yeah. As per, what was that? Macca's? I remember years
ago. Yeah, Macca's got done over.
He requested a hot coffee, spilt it on himself, and got $1 million USD.
Yeah.
So.
All good if you can get it. Okay. So we haven't talked about Pakenham and where we're at with Pakenham yet.
Hey, let's talk about Pakenham and where we're at.
Nowhere.
Okay.
That was a quick conversation.
The new update, yeah.
No, look, Pakenham's actually pretty much good to go. The biggest problem we have with Pakenham is staffing. So we have brought some new staff on board, and we are training up new staff. And when when everyone's calmed down a bit and got everything sorted out, we will open the doors at Pakenham. But much to Sylvia's concern and disgust, no, not disgust, stress, we are actually doing limited appointments there by request.
Yep.
You've got to phone in 1300 84 84 10. Say, look, I'd really like to do a pickup or do whatever you need to do at the Pakenham store. When can I book in for it? And we're kind of letting
limited number,
3, 4, 5, 6 a day kind of thing, depending on what else is going on at the time. So if you would like to use the Pakenham facility, bear in mind we don't have all the displays out and all that sort of stuff at this point. But if you do want to use it, you give us a call, 1300 84 84 10. And if your time schedule matches our time schedule, we will make a date and one of us will be able to help you there.
Okay, got one here. Robert, what about Scottsdale unicorns to get the kids interested? Have you seen those?
I don't actually know what we're talking about. I'm just going to quickly hit Google.
Yeah, I think Adzi showed me them.
Yeah, but the problem is there are so many different things that cross our desks.
I think
on
the
a
ones.
day.
Oh, look, I love so much of Scottsdale Mint, but was that their Galaxy bars?
Oh yeah, they're nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad series, that one. We should have a look.
Yeah, and MP, will there be on-site parking at Pakenham?
If I can get the staff out of the on-site parking, we'd be right, wouldn't we?
Well, when I was there was a lot less staff, so there was. But there will be secured, area to park in. But that's also why we have to manage for bookings at the moment. Yeah,
look, when we open the store properly, much to the staffing's discussed, staff are going to have to park out on the street. But look, there is on-site parking, and even if there's not, there's on-street parking, and you can park within 50 metres. There is disabled parking there as well, all that sort of stuff. So parking's not a big deal. It's not like coming into Melbourne. It's not a big deal. You'll find a car park pretty quick.
Yeah. There was another one I was going to ask. Kebab King, any news on the Perth Mint tour?
Other than it's going to happen, the short answer is no. But I did talk to Perth Mint earlier on this late last week, it was earlier on this week, and they confirmed a lot of things. They gave me a couple of approximate dates, but asked me not to tell anyone about them because they haven't locked everything down yet. So, but we are looking, like if you're thinking of coming, we are looking at that early September sort of time. So for those that don't know what I'm talking about, we ran, or Perth Mint invited us to offer to the Bullion Now family a chance to come to the Perth Mint for the release of the Lunar. So in this case, it was the Lunar Snake because it was last year, but it was this year's release for it.
What a beautiful design.
It was an incredible design. So we rolled in nice and early, about probably an hour or so before they even opened. It might have even been a bit more. They invited us in. There was a group of about 25, I think, of us, 25, 30 of us. Invited us in. They took us straight through the metal detectors, all that sort of stuff, straight in for a tour of all the back area of Perth Mint. So you get into all the areas that you're not allowed to go. They invited us back there. They then took us, like that took about an hour before we wound our way through, and they answered all our questions and showed us all sorts of things that you're not allowed to see, including releases that hadn't come out yet. We saw a lot of things that were released later on towards the end of last year. Stuff that doesn't get released in Australia. I'm not even sure some people realised that they were showing us coins that are designed for the US for their 401k funds.
Oh, yeah.
So
for those in Australia that don't know, it's like their super
version
of superannuation.
So their 401ks can only invest in certain things, and Perth Mint create products to fit exactly that market, and they only send it to the 401k funds in the US. So we got to see some of those, which you never get to see in Australia ever.
I didn't even hear about this. This is the first I'm hearing about that.
So they took us all over the place. Anyway, then the tour finished, and they took us to a room and fed us a bit of a light breakfast, and had the designer of the snake coin there. Yeah. They had the manager of all the designers. I'm getting all the titles wrong, but this is so I don't embarrass myself by saying names that are incorrect. You know, we had 4 or 5 of the Perth Mint staff there give us a bit of a rundown of, you know, life at Perth Mint, and I think it was Sean that's the designer of the snake, so he gave us a rundown on, you know, how he did it, what he was thinking, what he was trying to achieve, where he took inspiration from, all these types of things. And it was, if you get chance to talk to anyone that went along to it, and there'll probably be a couple of people in the chat.
MP Now, amazing tour. I still get a buzz from it. Yeah.
It was just like, I was blown away by it, and I've been through the Perth Mint many times, both the public area and out the back, and I was completely blown away by it. And I was especially blown away by it because they allowed, like, it wasn't just a gathering of dealers. This was the general public, which, you know, it has been completely out of bounds forever for that sort of stuff. And they just opened it right up to us. So anyway, long story long. They've invited us to come back and do it all over again this year for the release of the horse. So we will have to limit numbers, absolutely. I don't know. It depends on how many expressions of interest we actually get as to how we'll organise this. But I'm waiting for Perth to give us the final dates and the final numbers that they'll allow, and then we'll release all those details to people. But if it's something that floats your boat, then kind of that first week or so of September is the dates that they're kind of bouncing at me at the moment. So if you want to start planning around that kind of time.
Got to start, because I'm thinking, that's towards the end of the year, and then I realise, we're in July.
We're in July. So we're talking 2 months.
Away,
in fact, it's not even that. If they do it, for example, if they did it on the 1st of September, and I'm not saying that's one of the dates, but let's just play with it for a minute. You've got, today's the 4th of July. Yeah. So you've got most of July, all of August, and that's it. So you're talking about 8 weeks away.
Wow. Got one here, on that note, from Dan the Collecting Man. Great videos, by the way. Been watching them recently more and more. It was the best tour ever, so well run, and I couldn't believe what we got to see. Thanks, BN.
Yeah. I mean, you're more than welcome from us, but this was Perth Mint through and through. I got to say, one of the things that spun me out is how efficiently they processed us. Like, I've been through these types of things before, and it's like an hour later, you're still trying to get through security. It was like, because admittedly we had to send them our details or send everyone's details over there before we could go in. So they did have everything. That doesn't usually matter with big companies. But, you know, they walked in, what's your name? Michael, right, yep, this is you, no worries. Put your gear in the locker, go through that door, you're off and running. Wow. And like, they had the whole group processed, I reckon, in under 10 minutes, and we were on the tour. Wow. It was just like a well-oiled machine.
Wow. Stephen Willis, is there a story behind the Bullion Now name? Who came up with it?
That's probably lost in the eons of time. I remember a lot of discussion about different variations and combinations, but the general discussion, and I chuckle when, you know, sometimes the chat, particularly on live stream, goes down the path of, you know, when's this coming and when's that coming, and I sit there and shake my head, because one of the reasons we named it Bullion Now was because of, I want my bullion and I want it right now.
Yeah.
Like it's bullion now, not tomorrow. And quite often I sit here going, bullion later, bullion next week. Bullion. Like you just kind of shake your head and think, what was I thinking?
Plume, Midnight Gardener, hey. Just walked back in the doors. That desk was busy today. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Which is hence a bit of a later start because as you saw me, we saw each other in the shop. Had to serve for quite a bit in there. It's just I've just stopped saying it's crazy because it's getting crazier and crazier.
Crazy is normal for us.
Yeah.
It cracked me up though. Yet again, like I was watching the store. I was in meetings for pretty much all of today. I've been in just constant rolling meetings, but I'm watching the store on a TV screen and seeing the queues and that. And it's been packed to the gunnels pretty much all day. And then probably around about 5 to 2 o'clock sort of thing, there was no one in the store at all. And I'd finished the meetings and it was just before I was about to jump on live stream. So I thought, I'll race into the store and see if I can help. Oh, there's no one there. And there was literally no one in the store. Oscar and Brett were out the back kind of going, kind of trying to take a breather. So I thought, I'll race out and I'll grab a drink sort of thing. Absolutely dead quiet. I got back from buying a drink and literally I walked down the street into the Woolies and back again. Yeah. And it was full of the gunnels again.
That's right. And that's when I called Michael at about 2:28. Like, Michael, you came down here. I was like... So, Rubes, if you're watching, nothing's changed. Right. Nothing's changed.
Yeah. Poor Alex. I said, it's all right, mate. I'll be there. I'm just down the street.
Yeah. I've got that. Then the Ruben's computer logs itself out of YouTube, and I don't have the passwords for that. And I'm just going... Next week.
This is why I go for a walk, so I don't stress like that.
Yeah. Oh, well. Desi asked a question about, going back to the Perth meeting, could people buy PM...
chair going on over here.
Yeah, I can hear. Could people buy precious metals with cash whilst they're at the Perth meeting? I believe that's a no. It's all...
They don't take cash. Even down... Poor old... they were telling me about their Coke machine. They had to get rid of it. So...
Oh, what?
Yeah, they didn't take cash. So even there, you used to be able to put in a coin into their, their windy machine, and it spat out a printed copper bullion thing that you see. Oh, it was copper, it wasn't bullion, but commemorate your visit to the Perth Mint type of thing. Right. And they've had to come up with a token that you have to buy as part of your tour. Like this is the public tour, as part of your entry ticket, to put the token into the machine so you can get your little commemorative thing because they had to get rid of the cash that ran that as well. Yeah. So.
Well, okay. So Silver Sushi, I've almost been fined twice trying to pick up an order that would have taken less, that would have been less than the cost of a ticket. Laughing, looking forward to the big opening, guys. Yes, we are too.
Yeah. The number of people that gave up on platinum. That's always the way, isn't it? Just as you get rid of it, Murphy is alive and well. Just as you sell it all. The price goes up.
I'm a true believer. I never wavered in my thoughts or my actions. The only problem was, and I think I was talking to you last time. I certainly was talking to Az about, the next pay, I'm just going to get some platinum. And between me talking and that next pay hitting, it just went up crazy amounts. So good thing you had all that silver from all that months buybacks.
Oh, dear. It amazes me. I was watching, this is a couple of years ago, but I was watching a program about investing, and they were talking about shares, not bullion, but it works just as well for bullion, where they actually took a 10-year period and the returns over that 10-year period, if you'd held it for the whole 10 years, or if you'd bought and sold during that time. And when they actually did the analysis of it all, they said over those 10 years, there was something ridiculous like 15 days that if you'd held this product over those 15 days and only those various 15 days in that 10-year period, you still would have got about 90% of the total return. Wow. So it goes to show that it's quite often, no matter what you're investing in, whether it's bullion or shares or property or anything like that, none of them do anything for extended period of time, and then they'll just do a burst over a very short period, and then they'll do nothing again for an extended period of time, and then they'll do a burst. Gold's obviously proving that statement wrong over the last 2 years, but even then, I'd bet if you broke down the last 2 years into days, there would be, if you held it just over those certain select days in that period, you would still get a large percentage of that return. The trick is working out which days they are that you've got to hold. So
that's always the trick.
And that was the conclusion of the whole study, was the fact that you're better off holding it, because the people that are trading it invariably miss out on those, dozen, 15 days over that period, because they're too busy trying to optimize their in and their out.
Yeah. Well, while we're on platinum, Reformed Aussie's asking, Michael, thoughts on platinum for the rest of 2025?
Look, I don't like that question in that it's too short a time frame for me. Too much can happen in volatility over the next 6 months. If you're asking me, is it a good buy for the longer term? I firmly believe that for all of platinum's life, other than the last kind of 8 years-ish, it has always been more expensive than gold, and for very good practical reasons. It's harder to find, it's harder to mine, it costs more, all these types of things. There's a reason why, your Amexes and your Visas and all that sort of stuff, when they have their tiered levels, platinum is the top level, because it is that, considered that more esteemed metal above gold. So I think in the longer term, I think, this is not investment advice, that we are going to see platinum equal to or above the current gold price. Will that movement continue that we've had over the last couple of months? Will that continue for the rest of the year, driving it up? I don't think so. And to be honest, I kind of hope it doesn't. I'd like to see it stabilise before it moves up again, just to give it that new floor. But it's not impossible. But I wouldn't buy it today with the intent of selling it any time in the next 6 months. If I was buying it today, I'd be buying it on the understanding that it's probably not going to go anywhere for 6 to 12 months, and then we might see it climb up again. So I don't know if that answers your question or dodges it, but that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, for me, being a platinum bull, I guess, if you like, along with gold and silver, I'm looking for it long term. I have no plans on cashing out and taking a profit. I don't care what it is. I actually hope it drops so I can acquire more, because, as I said, I'm looking for the long term, not at the moment. But there was another question from D-Matter Cooks. Getting any fractional platinum in?
We are trying, is the short answer.
Yeah. Person on YouTube, time in the market, as the saying goes. Yeah. It's just getting it right, which is the trick, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, I used to be a fairly active trader, particularly of shares and options and CFDs many years ago, and always did quite well. I mean, same as everyone else, I had some fairly major losses, but overall, we certainly supported the family that way many years ago. But in my old age, there are some people that are incredibly gifted at trading, but they are very few and far between. And I think you get as good a return with far less stress just by holding for the long term. And I consider that across all assets, not just shares or options or anything along those types of things.
Go on, Roxy's dad stacking. Can you inform us to what Perth coin series are extinct, a bit like the Tassie Tiger? Is there anything that they've officially announced or not?
Not that I'm aware of, and I'm not game to go out on a limb at this point. But stand by towards later on in the year. We're actually going to. It's not Chicago this year. It's Oklahoma. We're going to Oklahoma. A couple of us to meet up with. So Oklahoma. Sorry, I'm talking in code here, and I shouldn't do things like that. So Oklahoma this year is where the ANA, which is the American Numismatic Association, is holding their. they don't call it the World Money Fair. They call it the World of Money, or the money. Yeah, the World of Money Fair, or something like that. So that's where that is this year. And it's not as big as Berlin, but it's still got a number of the American wholesalers and that go to that, as well as a few of the Europeans. So we're actually ducking over for that, and we're going to meet up with a few people over there, including the Perth Mint. So when I'm over there, I'll actually I'll see if we can get some form of formal announcement out of them to say, hey, this is what we're not producing anymore. So I know some of what they're not producing, but obviously they haven't given me any permission to actually, say this is what they've stopped producing.
And get them to please bring back the platinum platypus.
I think you're flogging a dead horse there, mate.
Got one here from Backyard Bear. I have seen the charts on what it takes to be a silver whale. How much does it take to be a platinum whale?
2 ounces these days.
Silver whale chart. Yeah, they're pretty cool. But yeah, no, I haven't. Maybe we've got to make one.
Yeah.
Put one out there. I'm trying to find. There was another question earlier on. Not sure who asked for it, but who makes our 5-ounce gold buyback bars?
Well, buyback bars.
Buyback bars. So it's just random, whatever it is, unless you're asking for a specific locally produced bar, if that's what you're asking, if you want to re-ask that question, or coming up right now in the rapid fire.
Before we go,
a few minutes.
Before we go rapid fire, I just want to touch on a couple of questions that have gone through, and I'll do it fairly rapidly anyway. Metal Inquisitor, LCS has the coloured emu.
That's the other one, yeah.
So, yeah, if they haven't got it and released it, they've got it and they're about to release it. So check the Little Coin Shop website and you should be able to get it there. Jason, we have more gold elemental half-ounce bars, I believe, in stock. If we don't, and I'm incorrect, they will be arriving fairly soon, because I know Adam's keeping on top of that. And we haven't gone any further with the copper ones at this stage. Although I did notice somebody snuck up copper Germania bars up on the web on me, and I hadn't realised. So obviously Adam's slid them past me on the quiet.
I was like, what? I thought you were talking about the elemental.
No.
Copper bars. I'm like, what?
No, so there's copper bars have obviously been imported on the quiet, and the purchase orders slid past me, and they've forged my signature, which I got to tell you, I get challenged when I sign a form.
Yeah.
So many people in my family and in this company can sign my name better than I can, and they never get questioned on it. I get questioned on it. It's my signature. Work that one out. Anyway, sorry, I'm up on a high horse again. So yeah, we've got Germania 5-ounce, 10-ounce, and kilo bars in stock at the moment. Please buy them and get rid of them for me.
Yeah, so we can get Michael to get some more in.
I don't like them.
This is I am surprised at just how many people look. When we first got them, did I get one of each? Absolutely, because that's just what I do, right? But I'm just surprised at just how it keeps selling and people just keep wanting more and more. And I'm talking multiple orders per customer. So that's always interesting to see.
Look, they're great.
They're absolutely beautiful. Like I know I have some. I bought some for my. Like I got a kilo for myself and the 10-ounce for my daughter. And then the first batch when they came out. Again, teaching is a great tool for teaching the young as well. Yeah. But they look fantastic.
They do. It's a cheap way to get a statement. Like it's a statement piece. That kilo copper bar. Oh. It looks great. The way they've produced it, all that sort of stuff. Look, okay. I'm selling them, so of course I'm going to say this. Let's get that out of the way first. But besides that, they just look fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can say, I've got a kilo bar, and it looks great, and it doesn't cost you the earth. So I completely understand why people get them. Yeah. The only reason I don't like them is because the heat I get from it, because it is absolutely 100%, and I've said this in every copper video we've done, it is far cheaper to go down to Bunnings and buy yourself a length of copper pipe than it is to buy a 1 kilo bar or a 10-ounce bar or a 5-ounce bar of Germania copper. It is. We're not ripping anyone off. I'm really, really open about that. It is absolutely cheaper to go down to Bunnings. And if you want a length of copper pipe, do it. But if you want a kilo bar of copper from Germania Mint with how schmick it looks, you've got to pay the schmick fee.
Now, we did mention this before, and unless anything's changed, we don't buy them back, and we're very open about that. However, if you want fractional copper and you want to trade some in, I've got some spare copper wires. I'm happy to do the weight ratio for you. I'll even throw in a little bit extra.
Yeah.
All right, I'll hit a few more of the questions. Kim and Annie, Alex, would Zach and Savannah be allowed on the PM tour?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's your kids.
Yes.
And if I'm correct, I mean,
can confirm.
I think if they're 18 months old, they might have an issue with them. But if they're kind of 10 plus, I don't know. If you're interested in going, flick us an email, and I will pitch it to Perth Mint and see if they have an issue with age. I've never directly asked the question. I'll ask the question.
You can always, if you do get to go, just ask them when you're there. What's that? It's better to seek forgiveness than to ask your permission. That's how I've lived my life. But yeah, I got to hear from Trevor Williams. Wow, my first live stream. Awesome shop and channel. I'm from Prince Edward Island, Canada.
Oh wow!
Thank you for watching and welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, always good to hear from international. It always spins me out to hear from international viewers.
All right, we should get on to the mad 30 seconds of 500 questions.
Okay.
So for anyone that hasn't experienced this before, what we try and do is answer as many questions as we can as quickly as we can. Ruben usually rolls his eyes at that point.
Yeah.
If you've asked a question beforehand and we haven't got to it, again, I apologise for that, but bung it up and we'll try and answer it really quickly now. If you've got a question that you haven't asked yet but you'd like answered, and it can be answered fairly quickly, chuck it up there. We'll try and get through it, or anything in between. Put the question up there, a question that you've been wanting to ask someone in the bullion industry for a while. Get it up there. We'll answer them as quick as we possibly can.
All right, Plume, I can get some beautiful copper round bars that come with tough orange plastic. I can get some. Oh yeah, no, that's in terms of the Germania. But I've seen Reuters is on our picking team. He's got a 5-ounce one out of the plastic, and it had beautiful. I know it goes different toning, but it was beautiful. It reminded me of camouflage toning. So even with copper, you get into the vintage, what looks vintage.
Water Monkey, the next coin after the Canadian Ice Age woolly mammoth. They're not continuing that series as far as I'm aware. So I don't think we're going to see any others.
Wow, these are flying. I'm trying to keep up with this. Welcome, Trevor Williams. Forum on the BN website from Lollybreed.
Get back to me in a couple of months and we'll have a look at it.
Good question, though. I like the question.
Yeah, they're going nuts up there, aren't they?
JMac, only 5-ounce and 10-ounce copper left on website. Will I ever get a 1 kilo copper? Sure when it's relisted, it should. I thought I saw some. I don't know if they were for picking or not. So
yeah, okay.
Is BN open tomorrow? Yes, Tanya, we are open tomorrow. Silver Sushi, with BN being as successful as you guys have any of the major US players ever tried to acquire the business?
No comment.
No comment. All right, interesting. All right, I'll chat to Michael after.
We're not going to the conference this year for interesting reasons.
Yeah, BDK, any shipment of the South African mint coming in?
Not directly from the South African mint. We've found them fairly difficult to work with, but we do get them through another wholesaler. So we may see some coming in fairly soon.
Okay, D. Mattacooks, any new silver and gold coming in?
Yes.
All right. All right, that's well synchronized. What is your favourite colour?
Don't have one.
Maybe red, sometimes blue. Okay. Is still. I'm still waiting for the follow-up to the werewolf. Yes, aren't we all? That was a Kraken, 2-ounce Kraken, the 2-ounce werewolf, and that's the whole series.
I can't believe they cut it off at the knees, but
they were both incredible coins.
Yeah.
They were both incredible coins. Yeah.
Colour spots appear on buyback gold coin. How to clean? Don't clean coins. You can clean them all sorts of ways, but that's a longer question.
Okay. Hobart mint bars, something BN would stock?
Yes.
All right. Normally pre-order, how long do they take? Looking at 2024 Perth Mint Gold coin 1 ounce. That would depend, wouldn't it, on depending on what the...
Well, the 24s we probably can't get anymore, depending on what you're after. But look, we can usually have anything in from Perth Mint in under a week. Usually, not always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some 24 Perth Mints in the back room. I don't know what they are, but I know they're there.
Damien Brennan might have asked, but any buyback 1/10 or 1/4 to go online in buyback in gold. Not a lot of the 1/4 have been coming through.
I listed quarters yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah,
I didn't see,
they went
didn't
fairly
see
quick.
them, but yeah,
Yes, they do.
They go quick. They go really quick,
I got
especially
some
the 1/10
fifths in there.
well.
1/5 coins. I don't know
Yeah.
what the heck to do with them.
Yeah.
They're a pain in the neck.
Money Mum, Thor, Odin, what's next, please?
Oh, I can't tell you what's after the Thor.
Is that because you can't tell? Or
No,
you
I
don't
actually
okay.
can't remember.
All right. Michael needs some coffee.
Yes on the runes. My page has just skipped. I don't know where we're up to.
Mine's still skipping. Thor, Odin.
Vintage Canadian maples. I'll keep my eyes out for them, mate.
Robert Rudlin. Yeah, will you be getting the? Yeah, that was the runes.
And
runes.
the gold
Yes,
1/10s. There are gold 1/10s. They have been. I think they've already been listed on the web. Those gold 1/10s.
Kim and Annie wants more vintage Canadian maples.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's still one floating about.
There is.
All right, ask me in store when you see me next. Odd job, going to trade in my copper arts pots and hat stand. Keep it because I hear it's going to Mars. Copper to Mars. All right, this is just jumping up now, right? Any chance of BN 1/10 silver round, i.e. Michael's unicorn? If that was you that sent it in from a few live streams ago, I do like the Michael riding the unicorn coin. That was a great design.
We're not looking at producing a BN coin at the moment. Dean, we're always looking for staff. Always looking for staff. Apparently, there's 19 kilo copper bars on the web.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
No, Will, the back end system won't be able to show you unallocated and allocated in store yet, but we are absolutely at stage 1 working towards that.
Geckosaurus. Hey, Geckosaurus, haven't seen you in a while. Gold, silver, golf, but I believe it's gold, silver, or platinum, or palladium. Why can't we have all? That's I like them all.
It depends on so many different things that you can't really answer that one in a short period of time.
Silver Ruger, I like that answer. My favourite colour is gold. I can't disagree with that.
Interested to open a BN reseller overseas. Always interested in business opportunities.
Yeah. Very sad.
No, Desi, when you ran out of money, did that mean you couldn't buy anything back for the rest of the day, or did Brett have to run to the bank? We still facilitated it. You just couldn't take it in cash. So, yeah.
Silver Sushi. Thanks for answering the questions, guys. Just handy to get the insights from a dealer directly. Most welcome. Thank you for tuning in.
Does BN get odd Asian gold bullion sold back like the 5-ounce tail biscuit bars?
Is that Plumy? Yeah?
Yeah, we do get them occasionally. We don't get them often, but we do get them occasionally. And not only in the tails, I've seen them in 50 gram, 100 gram, all sorts of things like that.
Lolly Bread, any reason Perth Mint would stop reporting on the 2021 plus collector coin mintages?
No.
I'm not sure, no.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, I'm a little sad we're not going, mate, but it is what it is.
But
we will have...
There's a lot planned as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say...
thin everywhere, so we've got to be... Yeah.
Stay tuned. You might be pleasantly surprised.
Chris Dykeman, any specials next week? Hoping to. I did mention last few weeks because... What you see here is what you get here. There's no one behind there. So
okay. Let me let you in on the hot goss for next week. The chances are there will be a special next week because I'm not here. I'm actually away for the next 2 weeks practicing my snowboarding. Well, I call it snowboarding. My kids call it falling down without any style at all.
Interesting string. So we're going to...
So last time I went away, there was a series of specials while Michael's away. And it's like... What?
Well, I am doing the stock count, so I'll check out Michael's desk and under it. And
I strongly suspect there will be specials next week without my knowledge.
That's good to hear. All right.
I think my page has just skipped.
Yeah, mine's skipping as well. Sorry, guys. It's a bit difficult to, especially when there's so many questions, you just skip. So, Water Monkeys, is it normal for Perth Mint high relief coins to have some very small black dots on the rim occasionally? I haven't seen any.
No, look, I
So
have.
I can't
I got to
comment.
admit, on high reliefs, I wouldn't accept it. I would actually take it back. I know I'm going out on a limb with that one. It depends. It would be a case by case. When you're paying for high relief, you're paying for a higher quality. Yeah, ask me that question when the coin's in front of my face, and I can actually make an assessment of it. But I'd be a bit keen on going back to the dealer and saying, hey, this is high relief. I've paid a lot of money for it. I'm not so keen on this.
Stephen Whitling, any more elemental half-ounce gold coming? Yes. Chezzy, is BNCBD renovations done? If curious for a quick look on SAT. It's not done. It's getting done. It's
The
changing
plaster's
every
up.
time.
We've got to paint it. We've got to put in the new bench. There's lots of little... We're probably 80% there. But as usual, the last 20% takes as long as the first 80%. So...
Geckosaurus, yes, Chinese gold ingot. Any chance we can get them? If you're talking about those like boat-shaped ones, I forgot the original tails and that.
Yeah, we've got one of the. I've got one of the boat-shaped ones somewhere around. Look, we get them. It's like anything. If you hang around the buybacks long enough, you will see pretty much everything come through.
This is for new though. New ones.
Oh,
New.
yeah. Chinese metal can be hard to get in those sort of ranges. I'm not even sure they sell it to us foreigners.
Yeah. Phil, do you ever get gold buybacks below 5 ounce? I am not a millionaire.
Yeah, we get them all the time.
All the time. Yeah, there's under.
Probably more common than in 5 ounce and above.
Yeah, there you go, Joe. Yeah, Michael's top draw specials.
Snow falling, absolutely. Bring that snow on. Woo!
Yeah,
if anyone's up at Mount Hotham in the next 2 weeks, give me a yell out and we'll share a hot chocolate. I'll be the guy face down in the snow.
Well, there you go, Silver Sushi. We will get a Michael in a BN shirt doing a video in the snow again.
We have BN hoodies this year.
Oh, well, there you go.
I might not be freezing me buns off again.
GR, vintage bar auction when Michael is away. Quite possibly. Yeah, you're falling down, Michael. Lots of people wishing us a nice, happy weekend. Thank you, and likewise.
Photo shoot. You'll see a hand with a bag out of the snow, and that's it.
Simon Bickerton. Hello, boys. I've got a massive chunk of cash that I want to spend on precious metals, but I don't know which way to go because of the price at the moment. What would you do? Oh, that's definitely not a rapid fire question, is it?
Well, it kind of can be. Look, this is not financial advice. Full stop. You can't take it. Irrespective of the price.
Case in point, this is not a
irrespective of the price, there is a component of precious metals that I will continue to buy because it is the cornerstone, the insurance policy of my investment, my investment portfolio. That was the word I was looking for. So, yeah, sure, I buy more when I think it's down and I buy less when I think it's up. But I'm always buying gold, or gold in particular, but gold, silver, and platinum. So I personally would still do it, but obviously I can't tell you what to do. I can't even give you any vague advice on it.
Oh, I like this one, Kebab King. Kebab or chicken burger?
Steak.
Yeah, well, kebab or chicken, depending on the venue. Irish Luck. Michael, you take a BN bag for a photo while you're snow falling.
Yeah, I might have to.
He is a big BN bag in the snow, yeah.
Yeah, I can use it to patch my bruises.
Yeah, Matthew Hibbert asked the same as well, yeah. The Gravel Walker, will you be getting any different gold half-ounce minted bars?
Yeah, different times we get all sorts of different things.
In a half-ounce, I haven't seen many in a half-ounce minted.
Yeah, Pamp produced one. We brought that in a couple of months ago.
Yeah. All right. Dan the Collecting Man, do you ever get 1/10 gold from US or other international markets? Buybacks, absolutely. They come from all over the place.
Yeah, we bring them in as well.
And we do, yeah. Not as much, though, of the Eagles. I wouldn't say I haven't seen really many Eagles.
Well, it depends. I mean, do you include Scottsdale in that? Because right at the moment, we've got Scottsdale 1/10 Aliens. We've got Scottsdale 1/10 Tridents. Can't think of what else we've got, but I'm sure there's more in there. So it just depends on what you're doing. We need to wrap this up.
Yeah. All right. All right. I'll do.
I don't know, Nathan.
One more, last one. Person on YouTube. Rarest buyback coin you've seen. Oh, this might be a good discussion topic for next time with a few of us, but I can't.
Oh, I mean, it's probably more bars than coins that I've seen because I pay more attention, despite the fact that I'm a coin guy, I pay more attention to the bars. So I've got a 1 of 1 Perth Mint 10-ounce silver bar.
Wow, okay.
Like things like that. So fascinating stuff. But we need to wrap this up. So as per usual, thank you very, very much to the Bullion Now family joining us either live and commenting, joining us live and not commenting, but being there.
Yes, and to jump in, echo that. Thank you for what he said. I'm going to do the commando crawl back under this. I'll be ready to cut up. It's goodbye from me. If you're coming in tomorrow, say hi. I'll be in the store and see you next week.
Yeah, and look, and for all those people that watch afterwards, it's fantastic when you see that, there's several thousand people watch and spend an hour and a half with us after live stream as well. So thank you very much to those people. Thank you for Alex and his incredible work while Ruben's been away. He's taken on a lot of the stress and he's done an incredible job and we've had a lot of fun. Well, I've had a lot of fun giggling at him, but it's been good. Ruben will be back next week, so hopefully there'll be some technical skills around.
Don't jinx it, Michael. We're expecting Ruben back next week.
Yeah. So it'll be Ruben and Alex, and I will be calling in from the slopes. I hopefully won't have too many bandages on me or plaster or anything along those sort of lines, but I'll dare say I'll have some gravel rash and things like that as well, though. But I will be phoning in and joining in to the usual chaos. We are open tomorrow being Saturday from 9 till 1. Go easy on the guys because there might only be 3 of them in on the Saturday rather than the normal 4, but we'll see what happens there. There is more craziness coming next week. There's more releases from all over the world will be shot through next week. And as per usual, you can join the craziness again at 2:30 next Friday, Melbourne time. Thank you very, very much. Alex is just taking a phone call, so I'm not sure if he's going to shut me down or if he's going to keep me talking.
No, that's it from me. Yeah, thanks, guys, and see you next week.
See you soon.
And thanks for watching.